Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can I say, bam, we are live myself?
It's done. We're live.
Good.
That's it.
I can go now.
That's it. You're the first person who's done that besides me in 700 shows. Thank you.
You see, I'm trying to get ease your mind a little bit.
Assimilate. Thank you.
Yes.
I was just.
Is it really 700 shows?
I think so. Caleb, are we at 700?
We're well over 700 now.
Ah, yes. I'm very humble. I'd like to keep the numbers low. I'd like to keep the numbers low. Very humble.
It's about quality, no, not just quantity.
True.
So they say.
I was looking at your Instagram. You know, if do you know who Justin Trudeau is, the Prime Minister of Canada?
Of course I do know. Yeah.
You're like if he was a man, he would look like you. I recognize you're the male version of Justin Trudeau. I realized.
Okay.
Staring at your Instagram.
Okay. I mean, as you well know, I already retired from politics, so otherwise I could have been the new prime minister. Yeah. God, yeah.
They need you. They need you bad.
God, yeah. Well, that's me.
Hey, Facundo, do you remember when you were on the show? Hi, Brian.
Morning.
Brian, meet Facundo. Facundo, meet Brian.
Mr. Friend, nice to meet you.
It's an honor.
I will say the same.
Do you remember when you were on the show last time and we were talking about, I was talking about who you were married to, and I just made the assumption you were married to a woman, and then I realized you were married to a man. Do you think I played that off well? Like I wasn't shocked, like I was just casual, or was I just like?
Well, I have to correct you. That one not the last show. That was the before to last show.
Okay, two shows prior. Yes.
Yeah. I don't think that there are many things at this stage that surprise you, Sevan.
Okay, good. Because I was thinking about that this morning. I wonder if I played that off good. Like I was just like cool, just like chill.
No, yeah. But I mean, it's a good note to start on. Very already.
Yeah.
Surprising to many.
Yeah, I just wanted to see like how am I able to, because in my brain I was like, oh, you really fucked that up, Sevan, but I have to hide it. I have to suppress that.
Does it happen to you often that you think that you fuck things up?
All the time. Already right now twice on the show. I think that.
Do you think that people see that?
No, I think I hide that shit good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Thank you. Thank you. Look at this. Holy cow. Happy birthday to me. $4.99 to my favorite charity podcast. Wow. We never get money this early. Thank you, Facundo and Tony.
Are we sharing that, or it's just for you?
No.
Okay. Just no. I mean,
Facundo, where are you?
I'm in Germany. I'm in southern Germany. My mom's house in close to Nuremberg. We came to spend Christmas here, part of Christmas here, actually. And tomorrow we drive back to Brussels, Belgium, where I live.
How long is that drive?
Oh, 6 hours.
And raining, snow, mountains?
No, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. And I also want to say that one of the things that we have in Germany that is amazing, that the highways, the freeways, I don't know, highway, they are free speed. So if you drive well enough, you are free to go as fast as you want. So it makes it quite, simple.
Germany also happens to be the host of a semifinal this year.
I know. And
in the competition, as long as you move well enough, you can go as fast as you want.
Well, very nice, Brian. Very nice. Look at you keeping the show together.
I admire you, Brian. I really do. But
some people call that autism. Some people call that autism, Facundo. Some people call that autism.
No, I will look before going to the dirt. I think I have to say that I'm very proud and very happy on how well our friend Brian is doing. I think that he established himself as the main analyst of our sport, and I think he does that with a lot of elegance and a lot of loyalty. And I remember when I first met him, I was working for CrossFit back then at the Games 2018, I think, 18, yep. Brian. And, there was a boy who knew everything about everybody. And I thought that I was that person, but, was not the case. And the other day I was watching the Dubai Championship, and I was very happy to have him, commentating on the broadcast. I'm not sure I was going to be able to see it all without Brian there.
Hey, I agree, Facundo, and I also think that Brian sort of transcends the sport in his. This is probably making Brian uncomfortable, but transcends the sport in his presentation. Meaning, there's people like Howard Cosell, like they could do football or they could do boxing or I feel like Brian could do anything. It's not just CrossFit.
Yeah, well, I think he works very hard. I think that, he's never unprepared when he has to do something. He puts a lot of his time, a lot of his energy, and he takes responsibility of ownership of whatever is given to him. Are you okay, Brian? Are you still doing well?
Did you open this by promising you're going to dump the dirt on me afterwards?
No, I just said let's start nice and then go into the dirt. But no.
And Facundo, I will also say this: Brian really likes a lot of people in the space, and he is sort of the I see him as sort of the United Nations. He likes to keep the peace with people. But that being said, I do also think that he holds you to maybe a slightly higher tier than other people, and he's always been extremely fond of you. And I would even say proud of his relationship with you. So,
well, I think it's a mutual feeling. I think we saw each other grow in whatever we decided to go through, because I was working as a very, very low rank media person at the CrossFit game. He was starting there, and throughout the years we see each other grow, and it's great to see that, when you have that kind of companionship and you see someone that you admire doing well and getting to whatever they want to go. But I think that he's getting blushed now, so maybe we'll change subject and we talk about somebody else.
So just so you guys know, also, that's not an understatement what Facundo is saying. These are two guys who started at the very, very, very bottom, holding people's bags, taking out the garbage, fitting in where they can fit in. And Brian was like that everywhere in his life, but so he didn't have to humble up much. But Facundo was not. Facundo was had an alternate life where he was a very well respected individual, and he bowed his head low and came in under the crack under the door and built himself up to probably one of the most prestigious and highest positions in our cult. So congratulations to both of you, actually.
Thank you.
So what do you have a title over there? So you are strictly a Mayhem person.
I want to think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Mayhem Empire, that's your court. The Mayhem Empire is your castle. That's you're not that's home for you.
I'm not sure it's my castle, but it's the castle where I like to live.
Okay.
And I think it's Rich's castle more than mine.
Right. Okay, fair. And then within that castle, what are your duties? What's your position, obligations?
So my obligations, I take it differently, but what I do is I coach. So there's Jake Locker. Jake Locker is the director of online programming for Mayhem. He's maybe the most underrated coach around because he is responsible for most of Mayhem athlete success. So me and Jake and me and Rich, of course, we create the program, in my case, mostly for elite athletes, for games athletes, and individual programming. So that is what I've been doing for the last years.
I'm trying to find Jake Lockhart's Instagram account. Is it?
Jake is a very shy person. He's very low key. Like good people should be, kind of. No, and you will find him. There he is.
Oh, okay.
There he is.
Let me see this guy. Oh yeah, I don't even recognize him.
Yeah. So Jake is the director of online programming and for Mayhem Athlete. He is extraordinary as a coach. He's amazing to work with, and it's a person who was there since the beginning of Mayhem online programming, and he's the guy there. So me and him, we work. Me mostly on individual athletes, on elite athletes. He does most of the Mayhem programming with Rich, and that is what I'm doing at the moment at Mayhem.
Caleb, will you send me that at some point? I'm going to invite him on the show. Let's get to the bottom of this. So your job, along with Rich and Jake, is in the biggest picture is to give the athletes adequate preparation for their goals.
That is correct.
And the goals of your athletes are?
Well, some athletes will be very happy if they make it to regional this year. Some of my athletes, a couple of them, will be very happy if they win the games.
Okay, so anyone else? Do you coach anyone else? Do you coach? Are there any like do you ever coach any classes or anything like that?
Yeah. There was a time that I was coaching like maybe 20, 25 hours per week next to my work at the Parliament. I was the whole time of the box. I loved it, but I think that, and I say it really with a little bit of heavy heart. I've been working so much with a type of athlete that I think that I lost the capacity to coach a different kind of athlete. Every coach has a capacity. They explore that. They have more tricks and more, more elements underneath their, as the capacities. And I would love to coach a class, but it's not something that I do very much at the moment.
And mostly that's time constraint issue, right?
Well, nobody invited me to coach a class. I mean,
all right.
Somebody does, maybe I gladly go. No, people seem to be scared of me somehow. I really don't know why.
Are there athletes that
water? Just saying.
Fair. Are there athletes? If you were Russian, I wouldn't believe you. Are there athletes who specifically fall under your umbrella? So like if they want to call someone, they would call you first and not Jake or not Rich?
Yes, there are some.
And can I start guessing some of them who they are?
You may want to try.
Okay. Is Roman one of your athletes?
So there's not much guessing, right? It's just to go for it.
Yeah. Just go for it. Yes.
So Roman is at Mayhem at the moment. He's been there for a month. Yeah. So out of the blue.
This workout is insane, by the way.
He's been at Mayhem for a month now, kind of a little bit, for a month. And I think that I did work with Roman in 2018 when I was working with Chris Hinshaw. Hinshaw was doing his aerobic capacity, and I was somehow involved there. Chris was always very generous in let me work with some of his athletes. And back then Roman had a different coach, and I was starting to change into just overall CrossFit coaching, not just aerobic capacity. And we stopped working together, but we always stay in touch. And so for this last month, he's been at Mayhem. He's been training there. We've been somehow working together, and I think that we are seeing if we are a good match to each other.
So there's a courtship going on. Whether it's unofficial or official, you're in proximity with him. You interact with him regularly, and okay. And would it be fair to say that you also don't want to step on anyone's toes? You're cognizant of the other people around him who participate in his training, and you're there as a tool if he wants to use you, and if not, you're fine with it.
Well, I mean, if an athlete comes to me, I never ask, why do you leave your former coach? That's not my topic. I respect enormously my colleagues, so I respect enormously in that case whoever worked with him before, which we already know who that person is, and of course that person did a great job. Otherwise, Roman wouldn't be where he is now, and I'm very respectful about Roman's past and whatever he was able to build with another coach. And everything has a time. Maybe tomorrow I find myself in the same role, and which I find myself in the past. So I think that mean
maybe like Proven would start courting you, and we would start seeing you over at Proven, and you would be torn between.
I don't think that me leaving Mayhem is an option at the moment.
No, okay.
I'm very happy there, and for me, it's a dream place to work at, and it's really, I don't think that I could ask for more. The environment there is extraordinary. We have as a leader, Rich Froning, who is an extraordinary person, an extraordinary leader for all of us, and there are many. They didn't ask me, but I'll tell you anyways. There are many things that are for me unrivaled at Mayhem. We're very proud of each other. We're very appreciative of each other's work. Every time that I'm there, We have an extraordinary media department with Scott and Bennett and Benjamin, and I'm really, surprised on how good they are. And if I move somewhere else at Mayhem, that level of excellence is everywhere there, and I'm very, very humbled to be part of it somehow. So I hope there is a lot of Mayhem for me in the upcoming years.
There's a healthy peer pressure there because of the standard everyone holds themselves and others to.
That is on the contrary. I think there's a lot of humbleness. Because if you're an athlete, right, and you go for the workout of the day as a whole group, and the workout includes a very heavy barbell, well, you do know that there's a big chance that Guy is going to take that workout. If you do a workout that lasts more than 15 minutes, you do know that Hale is going to take 5 minutes of you. If you put a machine or whatever, Roman is there. So there's no day that you can go there and say, I'm the best. I'm here, and I'm here to show that I'm going to win the CrossFit Games or whatever. Everybody is really good. And on the other hand, whatever you're doing, training wise, you have Rich Froning breathing behind your neck, and he's waiting for you to make a mistake. So, well, boy, that was the lecture you need to learn today. So I think that nobody there is very egocentric or hold himself very high in a standard. I think we're all quite humble.
Isn't it interesting to paint that picture versus like how someone like Colton Mertens trains?
I don't know how Colton trains.
On a pig farm in a shack with an uneven floor with no other athletes and 5 of those little wiener dogs that he's trying to start a dog breeding farm. What a contrast to running at night,
negative 32 wind chill.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, but you remember, Sevan, you are as old as me, almost. The Mikko Salo times where he used to train in his garage with looking at his fridge without music and just
worse in the closet. I saw a closet where he stored all his old furniture that he was supposed to repair, and the rower barely fit in there. And it was a 6x6 room, and he would say I would be in there for an hour rowing.
Yeah, in cold Finland, yeah, for sure. So
yeah, and he rode his bike to the gym in the snow, and yeah, and it's not to say that Rich hasn't been there either. By the way, I mean he had some, he used to train just in that one barn outside his dad's house.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you've been there, but Rich did whatever he needed to do to go to wherever he wanted to go, and I think he did it quite well.
Facundo, will Roman win the games? If they pay money, I have to ask the question. If they pay money, I have to ask the question.
Okay, and if they pay money, I will answer whatever they ask.
All right, thank you, teamwork.
Well, certainly Roman has the potential. That's clear to everybody. He has the potential, and you need to be at the games to understand the amount of pressure you are when you are there, and especially the first time, especially when you wanted to be there for 5 years in a row, and that chance has not been given to you. When the language that is spoken there is not your main language, so you need, for whatever you do, your translator in order to tell you whatever you need to communicate. I think that Roman has proven that he has the capacity, and I think that I can tell you that he has also the work ethics to go further in whatever his goal is. So
what happens, like you said, obviously he's got the capacity to do it. So he goes to the games this year. I think he has an incredibly successful games run. People were loving him. He was embracing the moments, and he obviously did very well and came close to winning. Then he goes to Rogue, another big offseason competition, and doesn't necessarily go as well. Where do you think mentally athletes of that level, does that result at Rogue affect him at all going into the next year?
No, I don't think so. I think that for these athletes, of course, Rogue is an amazing competition. Of course, they always want to win. I think that they are athletes that not the only thing, but their main goal is the CrossFit Games. And everything around it is, okay, I can make some money. I can confirm to myself how good or where are the points that I need to work on. But I think that in Roman's case, most of his attention is at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking, maybe put it in a comparison to someone like Chandler Smith. Like Chandler obviously didn't have the CrossFit Games season go very well for him this year, but he shows up at Rogue, ends up taking second. I have to imagine that from a mental perspective, that's a huge positive boost for him. So I was just wondering if maybe the opposite was true for Roman, where he's like, man, I went from second at the games to fifth at Rogue.
Well, Lazar had a great games, and then he started Rogue 500 meters into the run. He, hurt himself, goes to Dubai. He was very unhealthy, very, very more than what people think that he was. And there's a point in which you said, oh man, I mean, I wish the things would have gone better. I don't think that defines his fitness. I don't think that now he's lost facing the new season. He's an extraordinary athlete, had a couple of body bends, and as I said before, I understand that he will not believe that the outcome on these competitions make him believe, oh, I'm this at this stage of my career. I changed. I finished 8 of the games, and now I finish whatever at Rogue or at Dubai, right?
Yeah, and I mean, Lazar's had some extenuating circumstances that have affected his competition results in the offseason. But the opposite could be true for Roman too, is that he could come off the games and feel pretty good. And he might go to Rogue and say, you know what, maybe I'm not as good as I thought. And it might motivate him to close up some of those holes even more.
I think that clearly we see those results, we see those performances, and we take notes on things that we believe need to be improved, whether are for the games, whether are for Rogue, right? There's no doubt about that. But I say it again, I think that both in this case, Roman and Lazar's main goal is at the CrossFit Games. Whatever happens around it, could be great, could be less great. But there are also two athletes that do better at the games than a 2-day competition with 6 workouts divided into 2 days.
Lazar did win the semifinal.
So
did Roman.
Because Lazar, when he's fit, when he's feeling well, he's an extraordinary athlete. And me as a coach, look, I will be honest. Hopefully somebody pays more money because I'm going to say something very honest. Me as a coach, I told Lazar, when I see the money thing, I will say what I told Lazar. Okay? No, I told Lazar, you don't have to finish because I know that he was not at his best.
At which event did you tell him that?
Both.
Oh,
both.
Yeah.
I was there at Rogue, and his ankle was all swollen. I said, how can this guy it was the first event, keep moving at this competition, how he was, and his mindset and his conviction of whatever he wanted to achieve was stronger than him to say, no, he's, I think that is very remarkable that he managed to do whatever he did, the way he did things. So, but yet again, I think that these two athletes that you mentioned, they are more focused at the CrossFit Games than anywhere else.
Is this is a harsh question, but is Lazar maybe cursed? We have the bike incident at the games, then we have the ankle incident at Rogue, and then we have the stairs mishap at Dubai. I'm starting to think like he's sort of picked up some sort of evil spirit.
No. You first of all, you like Lazar a lot. Sevan.
I love Lazar. I'll send a Catholic priest to his house and get that shit exercised. Yeah.
Second, it's funny. Lazar splits during that bike would have actually given a better result if he were to continue one more lap. He would have finished 2, 3, 4th, right? And if you see the kind of athlete he is, push himself to compete even where he's not at his best, believe me, one round of biking would have not given him, much trouble. And therefore that was a very unfortunate thing. But
those are some of the 3 biggest injuries from the biggest athlete in the history of the sport. I mean, it is uncanny that he's had 3 incidents like that.
Well, I mean, the bike was not a health incident, right? But
right.
I remember Annie having a heat stroke at the games.
Right.
Finished 17, coming back next year and finished 3rd or 2nd that year, right? After 8 or 9 years competing. Maybe Brian knows by heart which year those were, but there was a year that I remember Annie at Murph had a heat stroke.
Right.
Had to, continue a little bit more. Then had to. I don't remember if he finished the competition, but no, went back the following year and she finished at the podium. Cara Saunders too had a year in which remember how
she fainted across the finish line. Yeah, she fainted. She doesn't even remember finishing.
So, there are moments where the health doesn't go with you, and the things are, difficult to foresee, to predict. But yet again, I mean, even
what about Lazar's ankle at Dubai? Was it, we were struggling to believe that it was 100%, but he swore that he'd gotten back to training after Rogue and that he competed. Was he 100%?
He took a little bit of time off after Rogue, as he would have taken despite the ankle after whichever major competition. But then he started working very, very hard again for Dubai. I will tell you something. At the end of the day, it's remarkable because yes, there were these two competitions, and I think that knowing Lazar is going to give him much more element for himself to work even harder to show next year, or to keep showing to the rest of the community what kind of athlete he is. He's the first person who actually, finished that high up at the European level after that few years competing. Björkvin has been the king in Europe over and over, in semifinals, in regionals, at the games, and comes a guy that once when he didn't feel that he was fit enough, said no to the CrossFit Games. He got an invite, said, no, I'm not ready for this. I will know when I'm ready, and I will be, doing my best when I'm ready.
Yeah, I actually wrote an article about Lazar and Jeff Adler, who both of them have made this like ascendancy within their own, continent in Lazar's case, and country in Jeff's case of, it's on BK and Yona. They've been the only two guys from Europe that can crack the top 10 since 2015.
And Hogberg.
And what?
And Lucas Hogberg, no?
Yeah, consistently. There's been some guys that come up once. Adrian Munweiler was in the top 10 once, dropped out. Hogberg once, dropped out. And now Lazar's done it twice in a row. And in Canada, it was the same, where, Pat and Brent come to the top, and then these guys come and go. Vigneault's been close, the Calron, but the Adler's now done it twice. Lazar's now done it twice. What I wanted to ask was...
some Cournoyer is coming, huh?
Well, Cournoyer had, and 2 years ago was somewhat unfortunate. He wasn't able to necessarily compete at his best, it seems like. And then last year, obviously, went team. But, of course, I have my eye on Sam this year, yes.
I think Sam can win the games. I believe in him.
He's an extraordinary athlete. He's working very hard.
Yeah.
I thought I was...
I think that the best thing that he could have done last year is to go and be with Rich for 1 full year training, because his learning curve as an athlete, improve exponentially when you are training every day with Rich Froning. So he's a very mature athlete. Yes.
Yeah, I was a little bummed that I didn't get to see him do an individual event this offseason. I know things didn't work out for him with Rogan and Dubai, and he's doing team at Wodapalooza, not individual. So I would have liked personally, from like an analytical perspective, to have a data point, see him in one of those competitions, so I have a better idea of if he's a podium, a top 10, a top 20, like what's realistic for him this year. But it is also kind of fun to have someone that's that good with potentially that much, expectation that we don't actually know too much about. I mean, that's basically what we got with Ricky and Roman last year. We just weren't sure where they'd end up falling, and Sam might be in that category this year.
Yeah, but after next year, for sure, everybody's going to pay much more attention to him.
Look, before we move on, like, he's going to go to a semifinal in North America, and if he wins it, people will be paying attention to him.
Yeah.
He does. How does that work, Brian? How does he go to the semifinal in North America?
He lives in Montreal area, so he'll be in North America East down in Florida competing. And, he won't get to go in that semifinal against Medeiros, Vellner, Quant, Fikowski. But there will be, Jeff Adler, Jason Hopper, some other guys from the top 10 in that semifinal. So we'll get a good opportunity to see, where his level of fitness is a couple months prior to the games.
Facundo, is he getting when he does that, when he does teams with Rich, does he get a ton? Like, does he, I don't know what to call it, but does he learn the nuances and the swagger and, details that maybe no other person could get unless they actually, like, you couldn't even get from a coach, that you would actually have to be on the floor with Rich Froning?
yeah, in some case, without any doubt, because he's a clever guy, and he knew the opportunity he had in front of him, and he used it 100%. And also, Rich is a very generous person in the way he trains. He shares all his knowledge, and especially to a team partner, right? It would be silly not to. But I also work with Sam, and I can tell you that I'm looking forward to seeing him competing this year.
Do you get that feeling like you helped build this car and now it gets to go out on the racetrack? What's it like for you to put these guys out there? You know, I know you're more humble than this, but it is sort of like you're bringing your toys to the games and racing them against other people's toys.
Yeah, it's not easy for me. It's not easy. I'm a kind of person who somehow builds an emotional link with my athletes. It's not just you do that. You know, I'm not that kind of coach, and I'm not the kind of coach who says I'm the beholder of the truth. You do whatever you need. You know, there's a lot of communication. There's a lot of listening from both sides, and a lot of compromise. It is very hard. It is very hard. I mean, after the games this year, I think that I slept for 3 days in a row. I was typing and I was falling asleep, and emotionally I was very, very drained. We had like 50 athletes competing this year at the games.
How many?
More than 50, 63, I think, 65 with Mayhem.
Crazy.
Yeah, from teenagers to masters, teams, individuals. And, you know, Jake and myself, we do our whatever we can to be with everybody. We knew there was also going to be Rich's last year. So for me, it was very, very complicated. It was a bit heartbreaking because, you know, he's going to come my brother. And I knew that.
Did you cry at the games? Did you cry at the games?
I want to see the money showing on the picture on the. I tell you,
I'm gonna have you on more often. I like this. I
tell you something. I did shed a tear when I saw Rich winning for the last time. Not because he won. It's just because, you know, it's been an incredible journey with him, for everything he did for me and the opportunities he gave to me. And it felt like, oh man, this is the last time that I'm going to see him at the top of the podium at the Coliseum. And it was like, yeah, you know, it was very beautiful. It was very moving. But I was, to my defense, not that I needed, there were many people at Mayhem that were crying on that moment. It was not just me. Because he's a great person, and we all admire him and love him very much. And of course, some of us had it hard to accept that he was retiring. But it was a hard moment for me.
Do you remember that feeling when you were a child and you would get giddy, like if you went to like Disneyland or something, and you were pulling the car in the parking lot, and you would start to get giddy, or you know, you show up to class and and the teacher does a new seating chart, and your best friend sits next to you, and you just think like you won the lotto. Do you remember? Is it like that going to Mayhem also? And I get that feeling from looking at your Instagram that you were just beside yourself. You're giddy and humbled by the fact you get to go there.
For sure. I mean, I think that anybody who wants to work as a coach in the CrossFit environment will be very humbled by Mayhem. It's a great opportunity, and it's also not just the opportunity, it's the chances that we are given. You know, if you come to Jake or to Rich with a proposal that is interesting, say, okay, we trust you, let's go for it. You know, my heart, we talked about it last time that I was at the show. I'm from South America. I'm originally from Argentina, and one of the things that
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Massive achievement for the country last
Thank
month. Sevan was one of the biggest supporters of the World Cup in Argentina specifically.
It's true. I'm not sure about that.
I don't follow soccer at all. But
he
Brian
had a
did
show.
explain the game
He had
to
a
me in
CrossFit
detail.
show on during the final. He asked me to come on it.
I missed that one then. So I'm from Latin America. I'm from Argentina, and then, you know, one of my dreams is to see people from South America be given the chances that people from North America or Europe have. And when I went to Rich and to Jake, I said, I want to build this in Spanish. I want to, you know, start taking more and paying attention on South American athletes. Can we do that? Oh, brother, if you think that is good and you're going to be happy with it and it's and the people that you want to involve are going to be satisfied, go for it. And I went to Argentina. Guy now from Brazil moved to the States. There's a contingency of South American athletes that are going to come to Cookville now in January, preparing for the Open. So this bridge into the rest of the world and being able to train at Mayhem, I hope that it's been now been broadened by what we are working on.
How many years have you been with Mayhem?
So I work with Rich maybe since 2017. And what I'm doing now is maybe for 2 years, maybe.
So you're crazy invigorated. By the way, there's a great leadership lesson there, by the way. If someone who works for you wants to do something, this is the way it works with raising kids too. If they're into something, let them do it. Don't start bombarding them with too many questions. Don't get in their way. If you sense someone like Facundo is like, hey, I'm going to bridge this gap between this country and this country, let them get out of their way, give them the resources they need, and they'll do it. Right.
Well, I think so. And I think that, this encouragement and this sense of support when you want to create a project, it's also very important. That's what I feel. I feel that every time that I want to do something, they are very supportive and very understanding and very like, yeah, you go do that. We are here for you. We got you in case, things don't go as expected. So far going very well, but I feel very happy doing that. And, so I got lost on whatever I was going to answer, but that's what I'm doing now.
You answered it perfect. What happened last year with South America? There were five, I'm making this up, but there were like 5 South American teams. They were all attributed to one gym. Then there was the rumors that I heard is that gym didn't really exist, or it was really just a shell of a place. No. And then somehow CrossFit found out. And is that what happened over there?
No, that's certainly not what happened. What happened is that we have a team of 4 people who actually moved to Buenos Aires before the date. Mm-hmm. And they all register to a box that is even today the affiliates map. If you go to affiliate maps, but you know it very well. That's the way you look for an affiliate box, right?
Yeah.
It's a very, very small box, very, very small box with very limited material. However, the truth is that in Argentina, there are only now in the whole country 4 boxes in the whole country, affiliate boxes, because the annual fee is impossible. It means like maybe 15 to 20 salaries to pay for 1 year of membership, right? And I don't know any box in Argentina that has 4 rowers, 4 bikers, 4 assault bikes, 4 skiers, and 1 worm. Not 3 worms or 2, 1 worm. There's no. So you need to, if you have a workout where you need to work with a bike, you need to go somewhere else. If you need to work with, with 4 sets of rings, you go somewhere else. The reality of that country is that people are doing the best they can to provide material to their members and hold classes the best they can, but it's very complicated, financially impossible to have a full equipped box. So
there were, what's the term? Maybe Caleb knows this. Excruciating circumstances. Extenuating. What was the word I used? Excruciating. Extenuating. What's excruciating? What's excruciating? That's like if it hurts a lot, like it's painful.
Excruciating, I think it's more related to pain.
Excuse me, English is your second language. Please don't correct me.
It was excruciating and extenuating.
Thank you. Oh, okay, fine. It's one of those big words. Excruciating. Painful. It can be excruciating too. I wonder why CrossFit didn't. There's these situations, especially when the sport is going through growing pains, and there's this interest to have it grow. I wonder why they didn't look at that and give this a pass, just like they would maybe give Roman a pass for like not having to go back and forth in and out of a country that's at war or something.
Exactly, and I think that is correct. I mean, many athletes during COVID Tia didn't travel to Australia to go to compete.
Fair, yeah,
and that's fair. I embrace that CrossFit took the decision. The champion, and it's not a lack of willingness that she said, okay, I don't want to travel 46 hours to get to Australia. I prefer to do it at home.
And then quarantine for a month on both ends.
Exactly. yeah, we had a lot of discussions with CrossFit, and yes, but you're not training most of the time in that gym. You should be training most of the time in the gym where you have paid your affiliate fee.
As soon as you say there's 4 boxes, Facundo,
yeah,
I don't really need to hear too. I don't really need to hear too much more.
Your producer there can put it the affiliate maps.
So, yeah. As soon as I hear there's 4 boxes, I got to give that country some.
Okay, so 7 there, but if you go in, I think that some of them in Uruguay. Yeah? If you go, they start to close, now it's 5, and if you go close, maybe no. Okay, that's 5. It's 5 boxes. 3.
No, 3.
Okay. no, 5.
Zoom in, make it down, take it down to 1.
No, they might be 5. 2 of them belongs to a seminar staff, so they are not paying boxes. Like say, they have the right to have box.
Right. They get their yearly fee waived.
Exactly. So 5 boxes in total. Yeah,
and they're all there. Let me see this country, Argentina. This is a big country, right?
7th biggest country in the world.
And there's only a handful of boxes there.
If you zoom out, yeah, I think that's it. You see, there's nothing else.
Wow. Go down to the bottom to where it gets cold.
Even less. That's the goal for CrossFit.
How is there no CrossFit down there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So these are, as you would say, excruciating circumstances.
Yeah.
I hope that CrossFit reviews that. We did have a lot of communication with CrossFit on that topic. I really thought back in the day that they would say, okay, we understand the financial reality of Argentina nowadays, with us having passed from how many boxes they had 5 years ago to whatever we have now. Certainly, it's not a lack of will, which is something that identifies very much the efforts of the South American continent. It's just the lack of financial means.
How are other athletes about that? How are other teams about that? Are the other teams? Is it like, is everyone looking for reasons to kick out other teams, or is it are the athletes more?
Do you have
unified?
any information that I don't have, Sevan?
No, I don't. But I'm just thinking, like, if you're a team, let's say out of Miami, I'll just make that up.
Yeah.
And you find out about this situation. Are you supportive of these guys getting in? Or are you like, you're just looking for everyone to get booted who can get booted?
Look, I've heard a lot of things about whatever happened, who came to CrossFit with the news that the team was training in different boxes. I don't have anything confirmed. And on the other hand,
but so you're saying there's tattletales out there?
Yeah, there is for sure. I just also don't want to be the person that, identifies a continent by saying, yeah, they sniff into each other in order for them not to have a rival.
And this happened all over the world last year. There are teams saying this about other teams in their regions, whatever. And you can't, like CrossFit's, it's a tough position for CrossFit. Like, are they going to send a representative to investigate in all of these situations where someone comes up? How do you handle that? But if it's starting to happen, then that's something that CrossFit should be talking about. I think that the fallout of what happened last season is the reason for some of the changes that we see with the team structure this year, which is a lot less barriers to entry, a lot less regulations and rules, and makes it a lot easier for whatever group of people to come together and do a team without putting that stress on CrossFit.
I agree with you, but now that person who is responsible to relate to that, situation should not be the owner of a box, because that put that person in a position of advantage.
Right. I hear you. You get to do some home cooking. You have a biased opinion. If you have a team competing
there, as far as I understand. But anyways, we turn the page. They are going. They are preparing themselves this year, the best they can. We do have extraordinary athletes besides Guy. We have Agustin Richelme, who is an amazing Argentinian athlete, who was very unlikely this year because he got the invite to go to the games Thursday before the games would start. So the guy went without any preparation whatsoever because he didn't think he was going to go. So he finished third in Copa Sur. Then the second person in the podium got tested positive, and he was backfield in English, right?
He received the backfill invite very late on, and I think that again, CrossFit has learned from. It seems to me that they've learned from last year that the timing of when they're doing certain things throughout the season was not really good enough, taking over a month between quarterfinals and semifinals. So they've adjusted things. And I think that the rosters for semifinals will be known much earlier this year. And I hope that they have a similar plan for something like that, because it isn't right for people to be getting, invited to something, 60 days after someone else.
Yeah.
Wait, you're telling me that Augustine Riquelme was invited the Thursday before the CrossFit Games to come to the CrossFit Games?
That is correct. And of course, I'm his coach and I'm his friend. And when he didn't qualify via Copa Sur, of course, he took some rest, which is what he needed to do, because he opened quarterfinal, semifinal. Then there was the chance of the Legends qualifier. He left that on the side. So he was like, okay, I'm off season now. I'm going to take some very well-deserved rest, going to eat a lot of ice cream and dulce de leche. And in the middle of his holidays, it's like, hey, bro, buy a ticket. You're coming to the games. You start on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
And keep in mind that we still don't know what the ranking process will be for the worldwide rankings next year. But there are circumstances like that. If they weight the games highly, and you have athletes like Augustine, who's getting an unfair advantage in terms of preparation for the games, and he's only one of 2 athletes that get to represent men in South America at the highest level, which might get the highest weighting. That's just another reason why I believe that the worldwide ranking system should not be retroactive. There's too many circumstances like this that could have too high of a weight that we're not an even playing field. Anyway, you know how I feel about that.
Well, Brian, what do you mean he had an unfair advantage? You mean disadvantage?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if the weighting system is going to factor the games significantly, in the case of South American men, there are 2 from last year, Guy and Augustine.
Okay.
Augustine had 5 days to prepare for the games, whereas other athletes that he's competing against had up to 60 days to prepare for the games.
Right. Okay.
And that performance is not just a negative performance on his resume at the games, finishing almost last. It follows him. New system, it doesn't just follow him. It could potentially affect the number of qualifying spots for his entire continent next year.
You're so clever, Brian. That's why we like you so much.
Are you Haley Adams' coach?
No, I'm not.
Can you, Julian Ifford, can you tell us how Haley Adam is doing with her strength gains?
Yes, I can, Julian, because you made a very generous
donation
to Sevan's Children's University Fund.
Thank you.
She is working really hard. I mean, Haley is a person that always works really hard. Maybe of all the athletes that I've ever seen, the hardest working of them all. Oh, okay. Thank you. Boy,
your heart just fluttered a little bit seeing how handsome you look there.
No, I just enjoy spending time with her. She's a very, very, very good friend of mine.
By the way, that's the nicest restaurant in Cookeville they're in right there. Notice the lighting and the roof.
Well, that is not a restaurant. That is a wedding. That is a wedding. That is a wedding venue. It's very, maybe the picture doesn't make justice to it, but it's a very cute, it's a very beautiful place.
All right, we'll take your word for it. Look at her. Look at her. What happened to her? She bit some bad food. There were feathers on the pheasant she just ate. She's spitting out a feather. So
it was a beautiful wedding for my friend Scott. And what she's doing, she's working very, 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 very hard. And, somebody asked me the other day how I see athletes. I went to Rogue. I saw Dubai, doing television, and I'm not sure. I mean, Sevan, you might remember those years, 10, 12, 11. You were too young, Brian. You were still in high school, in which an athlete show a very, very clear weakness, and it made it to the following year. So that here I am back. So Rich with the legless, of course. I don't know, Josh with the deadlift, whatever that was, right? I don't see at the moment that many athletes are coming back to the games year after year and have solved many of the very, very fundamental problems that very often refrain them to be on the podium. These elements, these weaknesses are constant and are there the whole time. And I'm not sure whether it's the relationship of the athlete and his/her coach, or a lack of interest of the athlete in
There's another major difference in the current competitive landscape compared to back then, which is there's a lot more opportunity and temptation to compete in the off season if you're good enough. Back then, 2010 through 15,
and you're suggesting that
there wasn't as much opportunity. There weren't
You're suggesting that interrupts training.
It could interrupt training. I think that in many cases, and I think there are very few athletes currently that have the discipline to do this. If you're finishing somewhere between 6th and 20th at the CrossFit Games, there's likely a reason. And to solve the problem, I don't think it can take a year in some cases. I think it might be a 2-3 year process for some of these athletes if they really want to make the jump, because it's hard to move up the leaderboard the higher and higher you get. But if you choose to do that, you're giving up a lot of other opportunities in terms of competition, which could mean sponsorship opportunities to travel the world while you're at an age that you could still do it and compete. So I think the decision's not necessarily always that easy. Whereas back 2012, 13, 14, there weren't as many temptations and opportunities like that.
My dear Brian, I'm not saying that it's an easy decision. Yet again, 2010, 11, 12, those athletes had a job, which many of the athletes that are at the CrossFit Games don't have now. I mean, they finish training and they go back to their office, to their whatever. So there was still an investment of time somewhere else than CrossFit. But the problem is, what do you want to do? Do you really want the CrossFit Games, or you want to be a good games athlete but never win and still do competitions? I think in Haley's case, she's like, no, my goal is to be at my very best at the CrossFit Games. I am going to stop having, as you call, distractions defined by off-season competitions, and I'm going to redial on my nutrition, and I'm going to redial on my programming and my training. So next year at the Games, I will be able to show an amount of improvement on that area. And that's,
And even if she does that this year, it might not be enough to completely close the gap. She may improve a little bit. She may improve a little bit more the year after that. And it may be a 3-year project to get the prerequisite strength that she needs to contend for the title of the CrossFit Games. We don't know.
That is correct. But I think that's still, I'm very biased here because I love that little girl. But still, Haley has something that very few athletes, still those who were placed above her, don't have. And she's a very clever athlete, and she's been clever since she was 15. The reason why Haley has been always hailed as that extraordinary athlete is not mostly because of her physical condition, but with the type of athlete she is. She's a girl that understood the sport very, very well from a very early age. And, when she competed last year as a teenager, there were 11 events. She won 9 events, and she finished second on the other 2 events.
Crazy.
We are talking about a girl who has an understanding of a sport that not many other people have. And the fact that, she's been now trying to find out what's best for her. And I think she did. And she's back at Mayhem, says a lot on how consistent she is in her decisions. So I think that, yes, it might take her maybe more than 1 year to get her strength where she might need to take it. But I also say that there are moments where her intelligence is going to be, the turning point into her performance.
When you say she's back at Mayhem, it opens up the door that maybe she was very close to leaving, or she left. Do you know how close she was to leaving? There were obviously so many rumors. There were all the Instagram stories and pictures of her with Mal O'Brien.
Oh, they're very, 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 very good friends. It has nothing to do with. They've been very good friends for a while now. They speak 17 times a day. It's really, really good friends, and they admire each other very much. No, I think that, when you finish the CrossFit Games every year, it is very important that you take a step back and reflect and see what have you done, where did things go as you expected them, and what are the path you need to take in order to improve those. And it is very clever to just take a step back and say, okay, well, I don't want to be influenced by anybody. I just want to take the decision for myself and what's best for me. And that's what she did. But I think she actually, Haley, went back home. She took some time off, some long time off, and see, well, I need to reevaluate this, and that. And that's what she did.
I know you're on here and we're asking you questions about so many people, and you're fielding them so well. And I know it's a difficult landscape to navigate because, you're speaking for other people. And so I appreciate that. That being said, let me dig in even deeper and ask you a harder question. When I got this sense and that Rich Froning was, I feel like I saw something in one of his talks about Haley that maybe, not that he takes his athletes for granted, but the thought of her leaving would have really bothered Rich, that he's very close to her, like in his mind, closer than maybe most. And he seemed like invested, almost like he's her dad. Like it would have gutted him. I just saw some sort of chink in his armor that would have gutted him. Like, oh, this man who's so used to just focusing, on winning. It seemed like there was some sort of like, holy shit, I would not like this. Not for any other reason, but like he let his daughter down.
Look, as I said before, when we talk about Sam, Rich is a very generous person. No, everybody who trains at the barn, the barn of Rich is at his house. So you need to be at his place in order to train there. And you build, after, how many hundreds of hours, a friendship with people that are training with you, whether you are the coach or the mentor or whatever that is. And of course, if things don't go as expected and you lose that friendship, I think that nobody wants to have that feeling. I've been trying myself to find out, ups and downs of this 2022, and it's been an amazing year for me. I have nothing but great things to be thankful for. Still, I do have a very little amount of disappointments with some people here and there, and I think it's part of our job. It's part of our environment, and I think that if Haley whoever that is, one day decides to leave Mayhem, everybody's going to be very sad that the person is leaving, because we appreciate each other's company very much. Maybe Sevan or Brian, you need to come to Mayhem soon and see for yourself.
I would love to do that.
There's a very beautiful moment. There's a very beautiful moment I remember at the Capitol when I think it was a Page that crossed the line, and both Bailey and Guy were waiting for her and escorted her because she was feeling bad. And, Sevan, you know very well, there are many athletes that you finish your workout. Oh, no, I need my rest, give me my water, my shake, whatever. Not many of them will wait 10 more minutes after the workout, waiting for your training partner to be over to help that person. I have very funny memories of, the fridges that you have at the very end of the line. Athletes putting their hands on the ice bucket. Said, "Don't! It's my ice. Get out of here!" No. It's a very. There are very deep friendships there, and I think that if one day we will lose one of them, it's going to be very sad for all of us.
Nick at Gilbert's, I heard Rich is doing comp train.
Yeah.
Now, this question here, I will not ask you because they did not pay money. So I will not ask you this question. Javier Banda, who is Haley dating? We will. That question definitely needs at least 99.
That costs 3 digits, Javier.
And you need to spell her name correctly.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
I've been to Tennessee. I've been out there a handful of times.
Yes.
I like it there.
Yeah, but you used to be a little tougher than you are now.
I definitely. When an athlete's making that decision to leave, I'm guessing that it's difficult because there's two competing thoughts. And correct me if I'm wrong. One is, do you stay with your friends or do you do what's best for your games career?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's sort of that was also like a tough position. That's part of the reflection process, right?
I don't know whether Haley thought I'm leaving and then came back. I thought that she took a step back and saw the whole picture again and needed to see whether her decisions were, hand in hand to her goal. And as I said before, she's a very clever girl, and she of course changed some stuff. She changed all her programming and however that was given to her, and a lot of elements, and she's doing great. I was in Cookville, I don't know what, but maybe last month, and she was doing great. I think that I've never seen Haley so happy and so focused on her job as I saw her in November.
Does Roman speak English?
A little bit.
Could he come on the podcast? Could he have a conversation?
You can try. I mean, you can try. We have a friend.
I really want to have him on. I'm up for trying. I want to try.
There is this friend of ours. Her name is Rosa. Rosa is a person that she speaks Russian. She's not Russian, right?
Oh, Rosa speaks Russian.
Rosa, yeah. And she's been actually helping Roman a lot in order for him to find a way to come to the States. So she's kind of a family member for Roman, and she is Roman's official translator. So if you convince Rosa, you have a chance to have Roman.
He responded to me in English on Instagram.
Yeah, I think he speaks. He writes well. He takes his time, and but he.
Well, he could put it into a translator,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then I asked for his phone number, and he stopped answering me.
Okay.
When the athletes, when the female individual athletes hear that Tia is taking the season off to birth a child, does that chum the water? Does that is everyone like these highly motivated people who think they're already at level 10 for their motivation? Do they go to 11?
Brian?
You'd have to imagine, yes. I think someone sent me a message the other day, like all top 10 games athletes immediately stop eating Christmas dinner and go to the garage to train.
Right.
I
mean, it's very likely that it's not very likely. It's clearly a podium space that has been a spot that is open now. And we'll see. I think that there are girls that have shown that have the potential, to stay at the podium. I think that there are girls that are working really, really hard. And I believe that it's going to be a very fun year to see athletes performing.
It would be You remember there was the year Katrin was at the games, and then she didn't make it one year, and she came back and won the games.
Yeah, 2014 she didn't make it. Yeah,
and so she wasn't there last year, right?
She wasn't there last year, I think.
And now, the clips that I'm seeing, she looks absolutely amazing. She looks back to her fighting, look.
You actually you didn't bet that she was going to make it, right? If I remember correctly, a very heated argument between you and Brian regarding Katrin in the episode 544.
Oh yeah, wow. Yeah, I think it was 544 or 543. You're right. Brian was saying she would make it, and I said she wouldn't.
I think that was the case. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right a lot of times that I don't get credit for.
I think it's amazing. I mean, Katrin is an amazing athlete. You would never ever discard her.
Yeah, these are amazing stories. And something like Haley, not that she's not already a superstar in the space, but if she wins the games, her star catapults.
Yeah, I mean,
I think more so than most, and she's so young. So when someone like her, if she were to win the games, the whole landscape in front of her opens. How old is she? She's 21, 22?
I think she's 22 at the moment.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, she's been like 7 times to the games, 8 times, 7.
Are there? Is Cara Saunders? Do you know anything about her training situation? What is she doing?
She's do you know anything, Brian?
Wow, a lateral pass to Brian. That was good, Facundo. That was solid.
I mean, I haven't talked to Cara in a while. I did write an article about her after Rogue. I thought it was just a good, appropriate moment to acknowledge her career. It's been 10 years. She won the last event at Rogue. She won her final heat at the games this season. It seems to me like she's spending time with her family. I think she's very much of this, just in her DNA is to always train. So I'm sure she's training. I saw some stuff from her at the beach recently. She still looks great, but I think that, for family and,
I mean, that ass shot, you saw her ass shot and you're like,
it's a video. It's a video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, look, you got.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But I think it seems like she looks like
she's in fighting shape. She looks like she's ready to go.
Yeah, I think that as you will know, Cara is a Mayhem athlete and she does our programming, and I think that she knows herself very well, and she knows when to do stuff, when it's a good time for her. When she was basically saying she was going to retire, but for some reason I'm having trouble believing it. I mean, she was so good at Rogue that I'm not sure whether she's ready to retire.
But the jury's out. You have no official word announcement. Nothing you want to announce for 99 cents. Someone pony up 99 cents.
Brian? No, I think that I think that Cara is thinking on what to do in 2023. If she wants to compete, and she will certainly be as extraordinary as she always is.
I mean, it must influence her too, also a little bit that Tia is not competing. It must at least get her antenna moving.
I think that Cara does her thing. I think that she's very unaware of not just Tia, but she just does what she wants to do, and that's her drive. She doesn't need opportunities to open for her to decide, I'm going to do it because now I know. I think that Tia's amazing, there's no doubt, and Cara was extraordinary last year at the regionals, and after 1 year after being a mom. So
honestly, there's like, if you just look at what Cara has done since giving birth, with the exception of the 2021 games where she was sick and unable to really compete it. I mean, she's still right in the mix. I feel like if anything, she still could get better from last year, than last year going into this year if she wanted to. I just don't know if she wants to. I mean, I think she's had, like I said, had a very great career. She's done almost everything. Sevan, you're not wrong though. When you've done almost everything and you've come 2 points to winning, and the woman that beat you that year and has won every year since steps aside, and you look at the people ahead of you and you're like, man, is it worth it for me to give this one more chance? Could I do the last thing that I haven't been able to do?
I would put her as the closest to first. It's obviously Rich Froning against Graham Holmberg, and then Cara Saunders at least 1 year, maybe 2 years, you could say. Then she holds the second and third spot for just games that were just slipped out of her hands. So and then Mary, maybe after that it's Sarah Sigmund's daughter.
Or Matt and Ben.
Yeah, Matt and Ben, right. But that has to be in Cara's mind. Yeah, and she is a proud person.
That's for sure. But I can tell you that she's very much in love with his daughter.
Right. Is she pregnant? Is she pregnant, Facundo?
No, Scotty. She's 2 years now, the daughter.
Yeah, I know. But is Cara Saunders pregnant again?
Well, not that I know.
All right. Just checking.
Not that I know. But I know that Scotty, her daughter, came to Rogue.
Sure didn't look like it in that video.
No, it didn't. Unless the baby's in her butt.
No. And I think that she's having a great time being a mom, and she loves that. And so I'm not sure whether she wants to dedicate more time to fulfill that, those 2 points, and see what she's able to, taking into consideration that will take precious time away from her daughter. So, it's like Rich. Rich wants to be with his children. The main reason is just like, I really want to spend more times. Is that a donation? Or it's just
no, that's just
because then we do share. Glock Catter, you can ask me whatever for that amount.
Yeah.
You can ask me whichever question and I'll answer. No, Rich wants to be with his family. It's just a real reason. I mean,
it's fair. Speaking of families, did you just have another daughter?
Yes, so they say.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
So you have 2 kids now.
Yeah, I just want to be like you, Sevan.
Yeah, one more. Listen, by the way, someone in the comments was like, can you share your beauty secrets with Sevan? This guy's 10 years younger than me. Don't fucking get it confused.
How old are you, Sevan?
This guy is not my age.
How old are you?
I'm 50.
Well, I'm not so. I mean, when you turning 51?
March 16th.
We are 3.5 years apart. Huh?
Oh shit. All right. Maybe I will get some beauty secrets after the show.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Facundo, are you familiar with an Alabama wipe? That term, Alabama wipe.
Nope.
Don't worry, I'm not either.
I wonder if you guys do this in Tennessee as part of the kind of the recycling. I'm going to read this to you. The Alabama wipe is when you blow your nose in toilet paper and then use it to wipe your butt. In order to conserve. I was wondering, is that a practice? I heard that's a practice at Mayhem, a common double down on the toilet paper. Nothing goes to waste.
I've never heard anybody. I mean, if they do something, they will call Tennessee wet wipe, but not Alabama.
The Cookville wipe. Okay.
That wouldn't be. But no.
Never heard that term. Okay. I'm just wondering how assimilated you are with the Southern culture.
No.
Okay.
No, in any case, I do know CrossFitters are very resilient to showers. I mean, they can do 15 workouts and then have one shower at the end of the day. So,
very eco-friendly. I like that.
Yeah. So
save that water. I'm sure that's a big concern out there in Cookville. Facundo for $2. Anthony, please put a profile pic in. Please. Will Rich Froning win Masters division? Now that's a loaded question. I guess the first question is he going to enter the Masters division?
He doesn't know himself. I don't think he has decided that. I think he's enjoying having not to think about competing next year at the moment. He's just in his head, as a team at least. Well, I'm the wrong person to ask, guys. I mean, if you ask me which one will win, I would say which one will win whatever he decides to go. He goes playing sport and he's going, I know football is going to win, golf and he's going to win because he's that kind of competitor. He will prepare himself as much as he can to be at his very best when he goes. So if he goes Masters, I think he will win.
Coffee Pods.
Brian, he's the one who is the analyst here.
We'll ask Brian in 2 seconds. Coffee Pods and Wads. I will be going on that podcast, by the way, in 48 minutes. I will be joining Pedro over there. In France, they do it the other way around. They wipe their nose second. Well, I'd heard that about the French. Very interesting.
Okay.
Thank you, Pete. Okay, where are we? Where are we in the show? Mr. Panchik.
Which one? There are many Mr. Panchiks.
Let's talk about the one that is closest to you, Mr. Spencer. Is Spencer one of your athletes?
No. I was no. He's not.
Was he one of your athletes?
He was one of my. We worked together but that's Saxon.
Oh, whatever. Pretend like it's Spencer. Don't ruin my story. Don't ruin my story.
That's
okay.
Spencer.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, Caleb. Sorry, Caleb, I set you up for failure. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we
Sevan sent Caleb 2 pictures. He goes, pull up one of these and let's hope it's the right one. If not, switch over real quick. Maybe no one will notice.
Yeah, we worked together for a while up to I think it was, maybe it's Brian knows better than me, the Open last year, this year, and then we
I think so. I think one of the because didn't Spencer come to Cookville before the games this past summer to train with a lot of the athletes?
And then we did. Spencer had qualified to go to the games, and he needed a good place and a good environment for him to prepare for the games. So he spends a couple of months at Mayhem, doing that, preparing himself for the games. Sort
of in a similar situation, maybe that Roman's in now. It's a play if you're homeless, if you're a homeless athlete and you're good, you go to Mayhem.
No, I think no. I think for the games last year, we provided specific games training for those athletes that qualify for the games. During that time, Roman, will fall kind of in a different category because he will be spending apparently most of the season up into the games, not just a month of preparation for the game. So a bit of a different relationship.
Jay Ruffner, Facundo is so damn mysterious. Like, what does he do and how did he get there?
Brian. I would keep saying Brian every time that I will.
No, I mean, I think he's been pretty clear about that today, actually. He's working for Mayhem now. He's had a background in politics. And as far as what he's done to get there, he's been around for a long time. I remember 2015, 16 time period. I was just starting to learn more and more about the CrossFit landscape when talking to some friends, and we would just see this guy randomly show up in pictures or at events with a lot of prestigious CrossFitters, and it was Facundo. And I was asking that question back then: who is this guy, Facundo?
It's funny that when people to me said, like appearing, I had the luck. Everything started, and I want to say it every time, and I know that I've said it over and over. Everything started when Dave Durante, the great coach, gymnastic coach, invited me. I ran into him at the games, and I told him, you are amazing to me. You are a great inspiration, and so on and so on. And then he said, "Oh, if you think so, then if you want to learn, I'm giving a couple of seminars." He was.
What year was that, Facundo? What year?
13. And he said to me, "Oh, well, if you want to learn, I'm giving a couple of seminars. You can come and be, a bit of assistant, a bit of in person, like how they call this, the people that just sit there and look."
Basically, you can shadow me.
Yeah, a bit of a shadow and so on, and to have a guy like that you admire so much say to you, "If you want to learn, I give you this chance."
So I take the chance.
Yeah, and you're very thankful to start with, and then you take the chance, and you try to prepare yourself to be up to that chance as best as good as you can. So we did a couple of years with Dave. We traveled many continents. I was his demo boy. And I can tell you something, gymnastic demo boy is challenging because you're hanging there for like 5 minutes while Dave shows all the physics about being dead hang, and these and hollows and arches. And
Would you be sore? Would you be sore after being the demo boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sore. My grip. Because, you're hanging there and Dave is like, "Yeah, now Facundo is going to show you now, retract, now pull this, do that. And I felt like, my arms were shaking. Like, I can't anymore. And he was like, "And now he's going to do this." And so, I that's how I started. And then where I had the chance to work with Hinsha for 3 more years. And that was his, we did maybe 60 seminars together throughout the world.
Wow.
And then I met Rich Froning, and he, invited me to be part of his Mayhem family. So
I'll give you my perspective too of Facundo. So I always saw Facundo around. I had no idea who he was. But I would always see him wherever, like in the athlete warm-up area, or I would see him, under the venue at that great venue in Carson. I'd see him under there, and he would always smile, or we would nod each other. Everyone knew everyone, even if you didn't know them. I'd be running by with my camera or something, and I knew of him, but I didn't know his name. But like Brian said, he was always with high-profile athletes. And you have to also, there is an aura about Facundo where he looks more manager than coach. So when you see, if I'm running by him, I'm going to notice him. He has a different aura about him than other people. Even if he's the water boy, he's going to stand out. So
I was the coffee boy. Sorry,
coffee boy. Yeah. So he always if he was there, even if he was, standing next to 3 athletes, it wasn't like it was just like someone's husband or wife standing there. Like, you would see him and you'd be like, okay, he held himself like he belonged there. And yeah. And you were a very smiley man.
I'm a smiley man. I like to believe so. But at the end of the day, manager and coach, you just guide the athlete to whatever, your input says they need to go, and wherever they want to go. It's not just about the technicalities of, you do 3 thrusters at this amount of weight and you're going to win. But, you journey with them.
But you look more banker than Max El Haj, who's like sitting next to his athlete and sweating more than his athlete, even though his athlete's warming up. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just a firm believer that there's not much that I can do in a competition. Most of the work needs to be done before the competition, and by the time they get there, I hope that the athletes know how to, understand perfectly well the work, how to warm up, how to play around whatever is going to be thrown at them. I'm not a coach that is like, "Hey, bro, now you're going to do 10 double unders, 10 burpees, you warm up, breathe 10 times, and then you're going to the competition, do I don't know, 10
Would you
thrusts.
say you have more during the competitions, you maybe have more of a mental and emotional influence on them?
I want to be present with my athletes, first of all, because I care for them, and second, because there are circumstances that might happen in which they might need me despite the work that they're going to do, or the event they're going to do. And that's why for me it's very important to be there for them. I don't sweat. I just sweat my hands because I'm stressed and nervous for them that things go as expected. But yeah.
Someone wrote here, what was this? Plot twist, Sevan intentionally avoid. No, I never intentionally avoided anyone. I'm very nice at those events.
Yeah, that is true.
If I have 1 second, I'll talk to someone.
Sevan has always been very, not as charming maybe as Brian, no, because it's very hard.
Oh my God.
It's very hard to, but you've been very generous. No, because I remember
that is bullshit. I'm twice as charming as Brian. That is bullshit.
No, I remember you working on the behind the scenes. I mean, this is one of the best things CrossFit ever did, the behind the scenes of the games.
Thank you.
And you did it really, really well. And I remember you seeing who's coming in, who's coming out from the check-in. So, well, who I'm going to, pick on now. Or whatever, and you were always very very
charming.
Very
charming,
very kind, let's say.
When you're at the at Rich's house,
yeah.
What are the rules with like going into the house? Like, can you go in? Let's say could you just go in there and get a snack? Could you make and if you could, like, how deep could you go in the snack? Like, does it just have to be grab a cracker out of a box, or could you actually sit down and make a sandwich?
Okay.
Would you open the fridge there?
I live at Rich's house.
Oh shit!
So I hope that I can open the fridge.
Wow. Okay. You're in the house. You're not like in the back where Fakowski is.
No. I live at the house. Yeah. So that person there, it's one of my best friends in life. It's Hillary, Rich's wife, and we are very, very good friends. One of my favorite people. I think that Rich likes me because she pushed him to like me. Kind of.
Oh, wow. Is there a little bit of truth to that?
Hopefully not.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, good.
But yeah, so I live there, and I like to cook. I like to cook a lot. So when I'm there, I like to cook pasta because Hillary is a very big pasta fan, and I cook for 15, 20 people. We do pasta for everybody. So yeah, I'm allowed to open the kitchen, the fridge.
Wow. And what about the other are there spoken rules about the house, like who can come in, who can't, like, hey, don't bug them, or is it more unspoken, like, hey, make sure you give the front of their privacy? Everybody's
invited to come in. Invited to come in. People respect it very much, because the children are there, the dogs are there, but it's an open place. Everybody's very welcome, and yeah, it's.
If Luke Parker came in with muddy shoes,
do you interact with the buffalo much?
Well, yeah. I mean, can you see me next to a buffalo? No, but yeah. From the bedroom that I stay, I see the buffaloes in the morning. It's the first things that I see.
Do you have your own bathroom?
I do have my own bathroom.
If Luke Parker if you were in that kitchen with your apron on, do you wear an apron?
No.
If you were in, I'm going to put you in an apron. If you were in the kitchen and you were cooking pasta with an apron on, and Luke Parker were to come in and you noticed his shoes were muddy, would you speak up to him?
Oh yeah, everybody speaks to Luke. Everybody says, "Hey."
You'd be like, "Hey, buddy, take your shoes off." You're like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you showing now? Okay, yeah. Yes. Everybody is. But Luke is. I said that Luke is it's just a heart. It's a heart with with a boy attached to it. He's just very gentle and it's a great, fun guy to be around. But I'm also a very big fan of Crackle Barrel, so we tend to go there and to have a lot of food. One of the things that I'm the most proud of the last years, I have been featured on the Crackle Barrel Instagram page. As one of the most faithful customers.
Are you kidding me?
He eats more Cracker Barrel pancakes than anyone.
How do they track that? You have a Cracker Barrel.
Because there was a time when I was in Cookville. I think who was with me? I think Spencer and Saxon were there with me, part of the trip, and I was there for 2 weeks, and I went to Cracker Barrel 13 times in 7 days.
Wow.
Plus, Sevan, don't forget.
You just had every meal there.
And don't forget what you said. No matter what he's doing, he stands out. You acknowledge, you notice. If he comes 13 times in a week, you can't miss it.
I think that even the people there on different shifts, it's like, hey, bro, were you here yesterday? Were you here also before yesterday? And I think that somebody contacted corporate and said, this guy, we need to pay attention, whether it's very suspicious, whether it's very good or very bad for us, but this is a guy that is
13 times.
Yeah.
That's extremely impressive. I had a personal record of going to Chipotle 13 times in a week in high school one time, but it was also kind of daunting to do that. So
Chipotle's a bit more it's a bit healthier than Cracker Barrel, no?
Yeah, but the point is 13 times going anywhere to eat in a week is impressive.
I think one time I went to Five Guys like 6 times in 3 days with Greg one time. It was just a restaurant right near where we were staying, and we just ate 2 hamburgers every day for 6 days. And that seemed like a lot.
Sevan, if you have to go on holidays with a former colleague of yours from CrossFit World, who would you take?
He wouldn't take anyone. All of them would take him.
No, if he's obliged to choose one.
I'd go with Dave.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go with Dave. That's a good question. I'd either go with Dave or with Greg. There's so
Peter's
many.
crossing that question off his list for later on.
There's so many good ones.
I have another question for you both, because we're ending the year, and I'm a firm believer that you need to look where you've been in order to aim better where to go. What was the favorite moment so far for you guys 2022?
Personal, professional, or otherwise?
I mean, maybe you can have both. Silence doesn't sell, guys, so you need to speak
every moment I spend with my kids. Yesterday, one of my oldest son kicked my youngest son in the chest so hard it left a mark on his chest, and my youngest son was so excited. He's like, "Look, it left a mark on me," and I was just like, "This is just incredible." And I'm
proud of you, bro.
He was so proud. Yeah, I'm proud of you both. You know how it is with kids. Anytime with my kids, anytime I see my wife interacting with my kids, watching someone I've been with for so long, transform into a mother. Yeah, it's all kid stuff. It's all kid stuff.
Since I have no kids, mine are very selfish, probably. From a personal perspective, I would say probably snatching 185. I've been trying to do that for a long time, and I did it the quarterfinals workout last year. And then also getting the broadcast in Dubai.
That was cool.
I've believed to myself that I could do that at a high level or at a high level competition for a while, but you have to have the opportunity, and those guys gave it to me. And it was at the very first thing that I did with Derek there was to record a little recap on top of the Burj Khalifa. And as soon as the cameras turned on and he switched on to his TV personality voice, and I've just felt really good about the weekend and having a chance to do that with him. So those would be 2 for me.
Okay.
Does that mean it's your turn?
Yeah, well, no, you cannot ask my own questions. You get your own.
I have another one. We can answer for you though.
Probably. So why would it be your goal for 2023, Brian?
It's to get you to answer one of your own questions.
Not get kicked off of YouTube.
Well, I had just had a child, so I mean, nothing can compare to
But you had a pretty actually. If you were going to try to choose one moment from this year, having a child, Argentina winning the World Cup, Rich's last championship. I mean, you've had some big moments this year.
Yeah, it's been an amazing year. Yeah. Of course, my child and my family, and I feel when I'm in Cookville, especially at Rich's house, I feel home. It's my second family, and I celebrated very much that Rich had that outcome. Not that I did not think that it was going to be the case, but yeah.
Facundo, how long are you going to do this for? How long are you going to keep traveling for? Is your relationship made for this?
Yeah, I think that it's very important for us both to be able to be part of a very, very close family, because we're very united when we are together, but also we have our our goals and our dreams and our objectives. And
does he travel as much as you?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So there'll be times when, what's the longest you'll go without seeing him? Will you ever go like you're gone for a month and you get back and he's gone for a month?
No. When I travel, I try to make the longest of my trips within 7 days.
Okay. Wow.
But I fear that I have to go to Orlando, to Rio, and to Berlin back to back during regionals, because I have a lot of athletes in these 3 locations.
What about relocating? What about relocating to Cookeville?
You got lucky that none of them overlapped on weekends.
I know. I talked to Adrian. No. I wish it would be the case. No, I'm fine. I'm fine where I am. Actually, yesterday we were having this talk about retirement already. Just how long? And we decided that, I would love to retire in Salzburg, which is 2 hours from where I am now. It's in Austria. But I think that I'm going to be able to do it as much.
Strasbourg's in Austria now?
No, Salzburg.
Oh, Salzburg.
I think that I will be doing as much as I'm happy with doing it. I don't get so much disappointed, so upset, because I'm very passionate and I get to tend very, disappointed sometimes. But I hope that people keep calling me and say, well, I will. Yeah. So, yeah, there. Thank you.
I thought you lived in Belgium for some reason.
Yeah, I live in Belgium, but I have a little house in Salzburg, in the mountains.
That's
and you speak what do they speak there? You speak that language?
Yes, that's German. Yes, German is my 3rd language, my 4th language, kind of. Yeah, let's see. In terms of when I learned it, my 5th language, but my 3rd language, because it's the one that I speak the most, maybe at the time, next to English.
You speak 5 languages?
None of them well, but yes.
Wow, I think there's a word for that. Like
we went over it last time he was on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, we did. Okay, yeah. There's some unique category.
But anyways, so I would like to, Sevan, I know that we are getting to an end here, but I would like to know. Is it tax haven? No, I wish.
Nowhere in Europe is a tax haven.
No. Especially Belgium. Belgium is really, really up to 55% of your salary goes for taxes.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Can I ask you, because I think that people would like to know, what are your goals for 2023, both of you?
I just don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. My goal, that's it.
Are you satisfied with your job, Sevan? I think your podcast.
Very.
Yeah.
Well, I'm satisfied by it because, I'm so excited to wake up every morning. I'm so excited. And a lot of times, like this morning, I was really nervous. I hadn't talked to you in a long time. And I like that. You know what I mean? I like that. Yeah, I love it. I do wish that it was, it's weird. It's a double-edged sword, because on one hand, I wish I had like 10 million subscribers. And on the other hand, I think that I need to work up to that pressure slowly. It already, someone said in the comments the other day, there's only 72 people watching the show live. And I'm thinking, well, for me, that's still a lot of pressure. I take that pressure very, 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 very seriously. And so, yeah, but I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm so happy. Thank you for asking.
Brian?
I have a really different take on this than I think most people do, but I don't really have any concrete goals written down. My goals are very close-minded, which is basically day to day. Of just keep laying the next brick and see what builds.
Yeah.
Okay. That's nice.
It's That's like nice. right, Facundo. Good habits, discipline, and passion. And so, if you don't have goals, at least if you have those, yeah, I know. I went down below 20,000 again. I know. You tell me about it. I put a gun in my mouth last night.
Yeah, I mean,
discipline, passion, and habits. And then if and I think that if you have those, even if you don't have goals, like good shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So, Brian, do you have any other?
Wait. Let me give this. Wait. Hold on. You built the greatest community. Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
Now go ahead, Facundo.
That's true. That's true. It's funny because I've been watching some podcasts now that was on holidays, I was traveling, and very often people said a lot of Sevan Podcast, and it's becoming really kind of a reference, no, in the CrossFit world, what happens and what Sevan says in his podcasts.
Well, good.
And
I hope so. Thank you.
Yeah, especially your friend Andrew Hiller. He always mentions you.
He's a very good dude. I adore my friend Andrew Hiller. That's one of the crowning achievements I'd say for my 2022 is cultivating that friendship. I feel like my life is too full for friends, but I actually made a friend in Andrew, and that's really cool.
And Brian's
an old friend. I cultivated that one a while ago. That one's in maintenance mode. Facundo, maintenance mode.
Yeah. Okay. So last question from me to you, at least, Brian. Who's going to win the CrossFit Games this year?
At this point, I will still pick Justin Medeiros to win every competition he shows up to, and still someone can beat him. But I do think that Roman has a realistic chance to do that this season. And obviously, with the news of Tia not being in the field this year, my focus immediately goes to the other two podium athletes from last year, Mal and Laura. My gut is telling me that Laura is going to pull it out, but we're a long ways off.
How about you, Facundo? Do you have any thoughts?
I think Rich Froning will win the games.
Yeah, me too.
If he ever wants, if he wants to go to the games, I don't know.
Safe answer.
It's complicated for me to say, because I see the athletes, and I see not just mine, other athletes, and I also see this last month at Rogue, I could speak a lot with my colleague coaches, like with Justin and with Nick and with John, and we had very nice talks, and they are doing a great job at what they're doing. So there are great athletes around, there are great coaches around, and I don't know what they're doing, so I would never be able to discard anybody that has the potential if they work with these colleagues, with these friends.
Diplomat.
Sorry?
What a diplomat you are.
No. Because on the contrary, at the beginning, I always felt that, we are rivals because we are coaches, and, I want my athlete to win and you want your athlete to win. But then, you are there and you are with Justin Cotter, which is a super fun guy. And it's impossible not to be, hey, let's chat about this, about that. And you get to know these people better, and you get to know how clever they are and how hardworking, how inventive they are as coaches. So if somebody says to me, I'm an athlete of, just to name it again, Justin, so, oh man, that athlete could have a great year because he has a great coach. So
this honestly is a great perspective. And if you see one of his athletes succeed in an event and Justin's really happy, you're happy for him, because you've been in the trenches too, how much work it takes athlete and coach together to achieve something like that. I feel the same way about the media landscape. I don't care if Morning Chalk Up or the Barbell Spin or any of these media outlets put out something that's great, that I didn't think of, that's original, that's new, that's accurate. I want to repost that because I want people to see it. Not one coach or one person is going to be limited to all of the good ideas and accomplishments. So I love that you have that perspective.
You need to come to Mayhem to see our incredible media team.
I know some of them. I think it's funny that you call him Benjamin.
But his name is Benjamin.
I know. I call him Ben.
Ben, Bennett, Scott, and then you have Jen, and they are amazing. So I don't know. I think that there is a lot of extraordinary athletes around. There's amazing coaches around, and I really don't know what they're doing. Social media for me doesn't tell me the real picture of whatever they're doing. So,
but you know that they're working hard, and you know that they have a focused objective, just like you do.
Exactly. So, Sam is an amazing athlete.
By the way, our listeners' favorite word that you say is focus.
Why not? Why not Samuel? Why don't you call him Samuel?
Samuel. Actually, Samuel, because he's French.
Samuel.
Cournoyer.
Samuel.
He's there. Guys, Guy's been training very hard again lately. He's back in Mayhem.
That's the South American guy, the Brazilian guy, Guy?
Yes, that's the
I think
he's
Brazil. I think Guy could have a bounce back here at the games this year.
Yeah, Guy's Guy. You can never. He's an extraordinary athlete. He's that boy knows how to move. He has a power and a speed that are almost unrivaled. And
I can't believe we didn't talk about him. Crazy.
Yeah, I did. I brought him.
Yeah.
No. It's just no. It's just like you asked me and then said, well, how can I, say nothing about Guy? We talk about Roman, about Lazar, about Sam.
Yeah, it's my fault. I'm not putting any of that blame on you.
Facundo, it's how difficult is it to have multiple athletes that have top 5 podium potential under the same roof training?
Very easy.
For you or for them? For you or for them?
For me, no. I think these people work together very often, and they work very well, and they are very aware of the advantage they have to have each other when they train, and they're also very, very, very aware that when it's 3, 2, 1, go, I don't know you, and I'm here to, I want to win. I'm not going to slow down just to, give you a point because you paid dinner last night. So they are very clever, and I think that the most clever thing is that Rich was able to build that environment, and he set a structure to it. This is going to work like this. This is what I want to work. That's why, Mayhem maybe is not for everybody. Mayhem is for hardworking people that have no ego, and they are to win some workouts and to get destroyed and over the workouts and to work really hard. But there is this sense of friendship that was very common back in the days in CrossFit when Jason and Josh and Dan and Rich were working together, and they were spending a lot of time together. 3, 2, 1, go. I'm going to, bring you down because I want to win, and it's pretty much very similar to those times. He built
the place where he wanted to train, in the environment he wanted to train in. If you build it, they will come, right?
Yeah, and So I think that everybody knows that, or my athletes they need to work very hard, and if they do that, they're very well taken care of, and they stand a chance to do better every year.
Brian, I'm going to close this and say something to Facundo, unless you have any other questions.
I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
In all honesty, Facundo, if people like you didn't come on the show and didn't trust me, my words, not yours, this show would be fucking nothing. So when someone of your caliber comes on the show and you trust me to be live face to face, it means the world to me. It means the world to the listeners. But most importantly, like I said, it means a lot to my entire family, and people who don't have kids and families probably don't understand that, but I know you do. And so I really appreciate you coming on here and opening yourself up and fielding all these questions live. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and the whole heart, not just the bottom, the whole heart.
Okay. I thank you. I mean, every time you need me, I'm going to be here. You guys
thank you.
Do a lot for all of us, help us, many things that people don't know. Brian is also always available to help. And without you guys, our work wouldn't be exposed. And so really, I appreciate very much being here. And I also, from my whole heart, wish you both a fantastic 2023, and hopefully we'll get to see each other very soon.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Take care.
Thank you.
Congrats on the baby again. Can't say it enough. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I only prepared for that for an hour, and I could have talked to him for 3 hours. God, he's easy.
I thought that you were going to cut the live and we were going to have a chance to talk to him in the back, but he left.
Well,
we're still live.
I'm trying to build like a format to the show now, like slowly. Like at the end, I almost cut you off too, where I always do a debrief with Caleb.
You want me to go?
Talk a little smack about the guests and stuff. No,
I can
you're
leave.
fine. No, you're fine. You're almost regular enough to be in the circle. Ken Walters, great show. Head over to Woods and Pods, see Sevi Sweat. Yeah, so I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to do the podcast with Peter at Coffee Wads. Is it up already? Can you see? Like, can people go over there and
Let me check.
and get notified? My goal is just to beat the podcast, the number of views the podcast he did with Fraser last week had. If I do that, I can rest.
Well, if everyone that's watching this goes over and listens, you're going to be basically there.
Yeah, all of you.
Yeah, it's up.
Hey, can you guys push me over 20? Oh, cool. Okay, there you go. Oh, it looks just like me. Hey, so it's 8 p.m. his time, but it's 9 a.m. my time. Can you guys all?
Is that your favorite picture of yourself?
No. Can you guys, you dick? Can you guys all just subscribe to the podcast now? If you're listening, make sure you're subscribed. Don't accidentally unsubscribe. Just subscribe and get me over the 20,000 hump so I can.
Jethro Cardona likes the picture too.
What did he say? Tear me a new one. Did I get 20? Where is it? Pull it up. I can't see it. The fuck is it? I know. That's what my mom said. That's what my mom said.
The picture's everywhere. It's haunting you. It's your shadow.
Oh,
it's my fault. Hey, did you see this? Did you see this thumbnail I made for this this show that Facundo was on?
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you.
He posted it. He said he was going on about 30 minutes before the show. We put the thumbnail up there, tagged us. Did you see that? That's nice.
No, is it in his story or just on his? Oh, that's cool. Can you imagine if we were organized enough to, like, before everyone came on, we gave them like a little like media packet where they could celebrate? Oh yeah, look at that.
Beautiful.
I was gonna put like Roman's head and Rich's head and all the different heads of the athletes on the lines, but then I thought that was over the top. This was good enough. It's lion
awesome.
tamer.
It's awesome.
Thank you. I'm so proud of it. I need some head. Everyone needs some head. Sevan getting on Canva is going to be a gift to everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it. Nick, I would love to talk with you today. I saw your text last night. I don't want you to think I'm shitting on you, or I don't want to hold you back at all. I want to be a good soundboard for you, so you can explore some of those ideas. So don't I'm not hell bent on any one decision. I just want to explore it with you.
Sevan, after talking to Facundo for an hour and 40 minutes, was there anything he said that you want to ask me about?
Is he really Roman's coach or not? What's going on? Just delicate politics, just not hurt anyone's feelings. It's just still.
I believe what he said is that about the kind of the courting process and the feeling it out. I think that, he obviously believes very strongly in what they're doing there at Mayhem, but he recognizes that it might not be the optimal environment for everyone. I think that hopefully for all of their sakes, that like whatever that process is comes to an end kind of soon, and that they can move forward. If Roman is training under Mayhem and with Facundo, I think it'll be very exciting, curious to see how this season unfolds for Roman. Facundo alluded to the fact that he'd been coached by someone very prestigious and well-known and experienced in the space with Nick Fowler for a long time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who that was. Okay, that's the brute strength guy.
Yeah, and you've been with Nick for as far as I know since at least 2017, 5-6 years together. Obviously, they got second place at the games this year after all the struggle that it was to get there and compete. I know from talking to Facundo over the years that he's not intimidated to coach any athletes. So the fact that he'd be taking on someone who was second, whose only spot to go up is to first, is not something that's daunting for him. It's something that he would like to be a part of, that challenge. And it would be, if that's the case, then I would be very eager to see what they're able to do.
Can you pull up that workout that Roman did, the Instagram clip? Caleb, I have to go here in a minute because I want to pee and make another cup of coffee, and I haven't eaten in probably 36 hours. I should eat something before I go on someone else's podcast. But
are you gonna have some beef jerky?
No, I'm gonna have a persimmon. I picked it off the tree yesterday. Convince me that Roman. Can you convince me that Roman's gonna win the games
based on this? Look, I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like, if he says his goal per interval is 3 minutes, 30 cal ski, 25 row, 20 bike. If you can do that 10 times, oh my God, I don't know if I could pick even. I don't know if there's any other CrossFitters that could do that if he actually did that.
I might be able to do the row one time.
Like that's, and we know how good he is on the machine. Like, I wouldn't ever want to interrupt their training or whatever they're doing to find out. But like, I would be curious if Jason Hopper could hold those paces. Like that's
so that's a that also is a 90-minute workout, right? Basically, I mean, it's if you have 3 minutes, it's 8 minutes around. It's 80 minutes. That's an 80-minute workout.
Am I missing? Am I missing something?
Right. I mean that's a long time to be at that heart rate, right? It's 8 minutes around basically, right? With 3 minutes to do it and 5 minutes of rest.
It's 5 minutes per round.
It's 50.
So he'd be 3 minutes on, 2 minutes off at that pace.
Okay. It's not 5 minutes rest. Okay.
No.
So it's still a crazy long workout.
So people could complete the workout. It's just if I was doing this workout, I would just barely be completing it and then just starting again. Because that's
what if I wanted? What about that workout if you just took off the ski, 25 row, 20 bike?
Now like normal people could actually do the workout. The 30 cal ski is, I mean, that's really hard. If I wrote this workout, I would have, because that's a biker, I would have 30 cal bike, 25 row, 20 ski, because I'm worst at the ski. He has got it as the one that demands the most in this workout, where the biker is a recovery for him here, I think.
Wasn't it a couple days ago, Sevan? I brag about my math skills every day. I don't even know what you're talking about. A couple days.
Anyway, if there, I know there's
that was a reading skill. That was a reading skill thing. Geez, Louise, not math. That was reading.
If someone else thinks they can do that workout, holding 3 minutes per round for 10 rounds on a 5-minute interval clock, I want to know about it.
Yeah.
But in a vacuum, no, that's not enough evidence to say that he can win the games. He has to be able to do a lot of other stuff better than he was able to do this year too.
It's giving you an opportunity to jerk him off, and you just fucking let his cock slip right out of your hand. Caleb, thank you for running the back end. You look like you have a filter on. Your skin is so nice. I don't know if
never
that's
in my hand.
I don't know if you need to get in the sun or you're just moisturizing nicely. Brian, thank you for coming on. Guys, I will see you guys in 9 minutes over at Coffee Pods and Wads. All you have to do is click through once. The goal of the show is to just get past the Matt Fraser views. And yeah. Bye-bye.